Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down fascinating new research papers into something you can actually understand.
Today, we're tackling a problem that sounds a bit meta. As artificial intelligence gets smarter and smarter, how do we get better at testing it?
Right, it's like we're in an arms race, but instead of weapons, we're building bigger brains. The large language models, or LLMs, that power things like ChatGPT are advancing at a shocking pace. So, how do we measure just how good they're getting?
Well, we give them a test. In the world of AI, these tests are called benchmarks. A benchmark is just a standardized set of problems or questions designed to measure an AI's skills, like its reasoning, knowledge, or planning abilities.
But there's a huge problem. These AIs are getting so good that they're acing all the tests we give them. Researchers call this benchmark saturation. It's when the top models all score nearly 100%, and we can no longer tell them apart. It's like giving a university maths professor a test on simple addition. Their perfect score doesn't really tell you how brilliant they are.
Exactly. So the obvious solution is just to make harder tests, right?
It is, but that's where today's paper, Automating Benchmark Design, comes in. Creating these benchmarks is incredibly difficult, expensive, and time-consuming. Most are painstakingly handcrafted by human experts. By the time they finish creating a really tough new test, the next generation of AI models is already out and acing that one too.
So we're stuck in this loop of manually creating tests that quickly become obsolete. Some researchers have tried to create dynamic benchmarks, tests that can be updated over time, but even those often rely on humans to come up with the new, harder questions, which doesn't really solve the speed problem.
Think of it like designing a video game. If you only have one level, players will master it and get bored. You need to keep adding new, challenging levels to keep them engaged. But hiring a team of human level designers is slow and expensive. What if the game could design its own new levels?
That is almost exactly what this paper proposes. They've developed a framework called BETAL, which stands for Benchmark Tuning with an LLM in the Loop.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Let's break it down. Benchmark tuning means adjusting the difficulty of the test. The really cool part is LLM in the loop.
It means they're using one AI to create the tests for another AI. They have a designer AI, which is a very powerful LLM, and its job is to act as the ultimate quizmaster.
So how does this cycle work? How does the designer AI know what kind of test to create?
It's a really clever feedback loop. First, the human gives the designer AI a basic template for a test. For example, I want a math test. The designer AI then decides the specific parameters of the test. These are like the difficulty knobs. It might decide the problems should involve 5 steps, use floating point numbers, and include division.
Okay, so the designer AI sets the rules. What's next?
Next, a set of problems is automatically generated based on those rules. Then, the target model, the AI we actually want to test, our student, takes the test.
And then we grade it. Let's say the student AI gets 95% of the questions right.
Exactly. That score is then fed back to the designer AI. The designer AI looks at the 95% score and thinks, okay, that was way too easy. My goal was to create a test where this student would score around 50% to really test its limits.
So the designer AI then goes back and adjusts the parameters. It might say, all right, this time let's make the problems 10 steps long, add in square roots, and make the numbers even more complicated. And the whole cycle starts over.
Precisely. It keeps iterating like this, automatically tuning the difficulty until the test is perfectly calibrated to challenge the student AI at just the right level. It's like a personalized AI tutor that is also the exam board.
It's a fantastic idea, but does it actually work in practice?
Well, the researchers put BETAL to the test. They tried it on 3 different kinds of tasks. Some tricky arithmetic sequences, a spatial reasoning task, which is like figuring out where objects on a grid end up after being moved and rotated, and even a complex real-world task where an AI had to act as an airline booking agent.
And what was the goal? Could they really control the difficulty that precisely?
They could. They would give BetTal a target score, like create a test where the target model gets 25% correct, which is really hard, or create one where it gets 75% correct. And across the board, BetTal was incredibly effective. It generated benchmarks that were much closer to the desired difficulty level than other methods, like just randomly creating tests. The paper says it was a 2 to 4 times improvement.
That's a huge leap. So it's not just making things generically harder, it's making them a specific level of harder.
Yes, and there was another cool finding. The benchmarks that BetTal designed to test one specific AI model also turned out to be really good tests for other AI models. This suggests that BetTal isn't just finding weird, specific weaknesses in one AI. It's actually creating tests that probe the fundamental reasoning and problem-solving skills of these models.
So, to wrap this all up, the challenge is that AI models are improving so fast that our human made tests can't keep up. They become saturated, and we lose the ability to tell which AI is truly the state of the art.
And the solution from this paper, BetTal, is to automate the test-making process itself. By using one powerful AI to intelligently design and adjust challenges for another AI, we can create dynamic tests that evolve right alongside the AIs we're trying to measure.
It's a crucial step forward. As AI continues to advance, having robust, adaptive, and scalable ways to evaluate it isn't just an academic exercise. It's essential for understanding and safely deploying this technology.
And it means we can finally give those genius AIs a test that actually makes them think. That's all for today's episode of Daily Papers.
Join us next time for another look at the world of research.